Another powerful episode of the Walking This Way's Impact Was podcast on the Nerd Media Company. Episode titled Your Inner Rockstar. Tonight, we're unlocking confidence, purpose, and the mindset it takes to step fully into who you were created to be. Featuring special guest, Coach Shae from Dallas, Texas, bringing real insight, real energy, and real transformation. If you ever felt like this more inside of you wanted to be unleashed, this is your moment. It's time to stop playing small and start showing up like the rock star you are. So we're gonna get at it this evening. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Walking His Ways Impact with podcast. As we live stream every Tuesday on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, you name it. And we want to make sure we bring y'all the most impactful, insightful information here on the platform. We thank everybody continue supporting us, rocking with us on a regular basis. And most definitely, it's always a privilege to be with you one more time. Big shout out to my lovely co-host, Miss the Kingdom Chick herself, Miss Nancy out of Miami, Florida. She'll be back with me on Saturday. We'll do the Saturday edition. Of course, I have a good friend of mine. She's a familiar face of the platform. Very productive, very active. And we have Coach Shae here on the platform. She's had a great speaking training after mental health for youth in Fort Worth, Texas. Shout out to Lataj Woods for putting that on. You've been doing a lot of speaking engagement. You're no stranger to this thing. You've been doing this for a while now, constantly promoting, putting out the measures, and you always been a big advocate for mindset. And I know that's your message. You constantly piece on a regular basis. So let's get into it. Go ahead and introduce yourself. I know you're no stranger here, so go ahead and introduce yourself, and we're gonna have a good time tonight.
For sure. So glad to be back. Hello, for you guys who don't know me. My name is Shae. It's known as Coach Shae. I'm the owner of Dynamic Weight Loss and Wellness, LLC. I'm here to lead, educate, motivate, and inspire you to become the best version of yourself. And tonight we're going to talk about unlocking your inner rock star. What do that even mean? Setting your mindset on just how to be, resilient and propel to the next level to help you, give you tips to unlock doors that you didn't think you could even unlock and be successful.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think it's very important to me. It's important. Just really just being an advocate for life change. And I know I mentioned earlier you all deal with mindset, and we know we go scripture. The Bible does talk about the mindset. When the Apostle Paul did tell us do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of the mind, that we may know the good and the self and perfect will of God. So we know everything's still with mindset, affirmations, laws of attraction. We know everything is energy. We know everything is based on science. And I know that we create the life because our thought patterns. We know, the old saying, "Sticks and stone may break my bone, but word would never hurt me." Well, we know that's a lie. Words do hurt. Words do cut. Um, People get beat up mentally with words. They say they can deal with physical abuse because that heal, but with the mental abuse, it's something that you could not bounce back from. But I said, I know you big on mindset. What did that resonate with for you? Why was the mindset so important with you, and why you carry it on to this day?
The mindset is really important to me because everything is aligned, like your mind, your body, your spirit. And often we try to detach these things when your body only goes as far as your mind allows it. Your spirit only goes as far as your mind will take it. So you have to be in control of your mind for everything else to be able to be in alignment. And it's so important that we understand that those aren't three separate components. Like, it's all operating as one thing. So when your mind messed up, the body not gonna do what it needs to do. The spirit gonna feel weak. Like, you're not gonna be able to be as energetic or as productive as you would want to be if your mindset isn't right, if you're not focused, if it's no clarity, if you're not clear. So that's why mindset is so important to me, because when I really started kickboxing, I realized that my mental had to be strong to be able to withstand the workout, the strenuousness of the kickboxing and being physically fit. And so that's when I realized, like, man, all this is like one component, because my body only gonna go as far as my mind allows. So that's why mindset is so important.
Yeah, 'cause I know, like I said, I know you big on that, and I know you took up kickboxing. I know you went through a tragic time in your life when you picked up kickboxing because you had a loss of a child, of course, and I know that led you to kickboxing. Of course, I know you talked about that profoundly, of course. Just what methods? I know everybody have a different way of dealing with things, but how did you cope with it? Do you still cope with that, or how do that shape your world?
I think I think now, like, I think grief, even like after losing my mom, maybe almost 3 years ago now, I feel like if I wouldn't have went through that, losing a child, I probably wouldn't have known the things to be able to do when I lost my mom, or how to cope a little bit better with grief and loss, because grief can be a very lonely place. It can be so isolating. It can be very dark, because some people can't relate. They don't know what to say to you. When I first lost my daughter, I often feel like contagious. Like, I don't want to rub off on nobody. I don't want to be projecting bad energy onto anybody. But grief can be a very um, lonely place. But outside of that, it also teaches you how strong you are. Um, so I really learned a lot about myself, as far as like how strong I really am, and I really um, downplayed how strong I am, how resilient I am, how I'm able to get through these things and just keep kind of moving through life. And the thing that I do, I will did to be able to maintain that would be um, reading books, um, just staying busy. Like, you really do have to stay busy when something like that happens. Like, you want to do whatever you can to kind of put your mind in a positive space. Working on personal development, which means just really getting a level of heightened self-awareness. Like, you have to be able to ask yourself hard questions. A lot of
Mm,
us don't like to do that. We rather just
yeah.
negatively self-talk to ourselves, like, man, that was stupid, that was dumb, that was a bad decision. But I say, talk to yourself like you talk to your best friend. You wouldn't tell your best friend that they stupid or that they dumb, unless you're just really rude. But I mean, you wouldn't talk to your best friend like that. So, like, talk to yourself how you talk to your best friend. And, building that relationship with yourself, just really tapping into a higher level of self-awareness. Like, so what do I need at this moment? Sometimes you might need to go outside. You might actually need a hug. You might just need somebody to vent to. Something venting, of course, when you vent to people, make sure they have the capacity to withstand what you're about to vent about. Like, don't go to somebody and just start dumping on them. I learned that too. Like, sometimes we just go and we just start talking and we just emotionally dumping on people when they don't even have the capacity to receive what we issuing them. So it's like making sure that the person that you venting to even had a capacity, and the person on the end of receiving it. Venting don't always mean I want a response. Sometimes it just means I just want you to hear me out. I don't even need your opinion on anything. I don't need you to try to make me feel better about the situation if you don't know what to say. Sometimes I just need you to just be an ear and just listen. So finding people that I can vent to, that allow me to be able to tell them what I'm thinking without being judgmental. Because every day not gonna be a good day. Let's just face it. Like, every day not gonna be a good day. But you learn along the way to be able to cope with things. I don't think that feeling ever really goes away, because I often think of my daughter. I often think of my mom. The feeling don't never really go away, but it also motivates me too. Like, I know I can't give up. I know my mom will be proud of me. I know my daughter will be proud of me, so it's like just finding those little small things that keep you motivated and keep you moving forward so you won't get stuck. Like you have to find your why. And everybody why not gonna be the same. I think especially us moms, I think we always be like, well, my why is my children. And I remember working with a very profound life coach and a business entrepreneur. Her name is Jana Butler. And she told me, sometimes the kids aren't enough. And I started thinking like, at what point do you, not saying that you don't do things for your kids, because it's like you already do that, like that's embedded in you, right?
Right.
But you have to find a greater why. Like that why have to be so profound that you see no reason to give up or to stop. So of course I do this for my kids, but overall I do it because I have to prove to myself that I can. And it's okay to be about yourself. It's okay to be, I don't call it selfishness, I call it selflessness. Like you have to be able to do things for yourself, even though you're a mom. Outside of being a mom or outside of being a dad, like you have to discover who are you without the title.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that 1000% because I was reading the book that I have in my library and it talks about how philosophers teaches men and women to know themselves. And I know at this time in our life, it's very important to know ourselves, get to know who we are, get to tune into who we are, because everything does start with self first, right? So it's really going back to loving yourself, knowing yourself, unlearn to relearn. So you know, what would you say about that? People feel they think they're lonely. You're lonely because once you get to know yourself, help me if I'm wrong. I'm like, once you get to know yourself, you're never on it out because you're so occupied in knowing who you are, learning your philosophy, learning your beliefs, and all that stuff. And it took me yesterday when I read that it's important for us to know ourselves. What you say about that? Getting to know
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the most important relationship that you can have is with yourself. Because my mama would always tell me, you born in the world by yourself, you're gonna die by yourself. So it's not nobody that you're gonna be able to take with you when it's time. So the best relationship that you can have is with yourself. And some questions that you can ask yourself to get to know yourself is like, um, what would I tell myself 10 years from now? What's some advice that I would have gave my childhood self that I would give now? What type of, it's really tapping into your own personality and asking yourself them hard questions, like really getting to know and dig deep um, things that you probably wouldn't even think to ask yourself. Like for me, I know a lot. I question myself a lot being in nursing school because it's
Mm-hmm.
so hard. Like literally, like it's so hard. And some days I'll be like, God, is this really what we're supposed to be doing right now? Like sometimes you just have to ask yourself some hard questions. Like, is this really what I want to be doing? Is this really the person that I would want to? Will my kids be proud of this person? Will my nieces and nephews be proud of this person? Like the person that you are now at this point. Like, are you somebody that can be bragged about or be talked about? And your name is your name being mentioned in rooms that you're not in. And I think that's very important to really sit back and analyze yourself as a human being. Like, do I have an attitude problem? Like some people be like, I'm not a morning person. You are a morning person. If you're an evening person, you're a morning person. But it's the mindset that you created
Yeah.
behind how you feel. Oh, I can't do nothing before I have my coffee. You breathe before you had a coffee. So you can do something before you had a coffee. It's just a mindset thing that we become so fixated on certain things and certain beliefs. And then when somebody comes to challenge your belief, like a person like me, then you might even get to the point where you feel offended because it's like, dang, like I never thought about it like that. But yeah, like we tell ourselves a lot of false narratives, and that's what keep us at very stagnant, position. So you definitely have to get to know yourself. That's probably the most important relationship that you have. And if you're feeling lonely, you're probably not asking yourself the right questions about yourself that you need to know to be able to fill that void or whatever void you're feeling like. And then what are you looking to replace the loneliness is important too. Like, are you looking for human connection? I mean, that's normal for people to seek human connection. Like, that's very normal. We are here to be able to be crutches for each other. But just figuring out really what's the void, like what you feeling so lonely about, like what do you feel like you're missing out on, and then once you discover that, then you're able to move accordingly. Like, well, I feel like I'm missing human connection. Okay, join a book club, go to church to fellowship, get surrounded by people, start going to networking events, like really figure out what that void is instead of just being like, oh, I'm so lonely and self pitying yourself. And
Right.
yeah, like locking yourself in the house, like, oh, I don't want to go outside because I feel this way, that way. And it took me a while to be able to come to that type of realization too, until I started really wanting to know, like, who am I and what is my purpose?
Yeah.
So once you
And
start asking yourself, like, what is your purpose? You can be able to move a different way.
yeah, most definitely, I agree with that 1000% on that because everything does start with self first. And as you was talking, the words that we say, the things we tell ourselves, and we speak those things into existence. Those words eventually comes into reality. I catch myself like try how people say I'm trying. Don't say try. Trying is you don't believe in what you're doing. You're actually doing it. And I like when the word tells us let our yay be yay, nay be nay. In other words, there's no in between.
There's not no
So
in between. Yeah.
right, so and I learned that there is no in between. Either you're gonna do it, you're not gonna do it, but put forth the effort in doing it. And man, a lot of times, Shay, is we are our own worst enemies, especially when it comes to exercising. Send the schedule. That's when excuse me, that's when all hell break loose. Not all hell break loose. Those emotions get in the way. Those doubts get in the way. That small still voice comes into play. Oh man, get up and just go tomorrow, man. Turn back over. That then you know what I'm saying. Now you got to break that pattern of doing it. Okay, if I really want to continue dedicated to my exercise, I have to get up and go. I don't do it when I feel it. I don't do it when I feel like doing it. I do it when I don't feel like doing it in order to break that mental barrier. What do you say about that? Breaking that mental barrier when it comes to when that alarm get up, go out, get up and get to going instead of just turning back on. So I just go tomorrow.
Yeah, because your body has a lot of resistance to what you be trying to do in your mind. Like, you'll be so surprised how much you'll be like, dang, like you say, like, I don't feel like it. But like, we do a lot of stuff we don't feel like doing. We go to work all the time. You don't feel like doing that neither. But that's gonna produce a check. So it's like the same thing with working out. Like, you have to get your mind focused on the end outcome. Of course, it's like the compound effect. It happens slowly, progressively. It's gonna happen over time. And I feel like a lot of people seek that instant gratification. They like want something to just happen like right now.
Yeah,
And
they
if
do.
everything was like that in life, do you know how much more people would be so successful if everything was just so instantaneous? But you got to go through something to get to something. That's like,
Yeah,
just,
you got to. If you look, I'm gonna go biblical for a moment. It's all about getting out your comfort zone in everything you do. Um, look at Abraham. You know, Abram, before you came Abraham, God told him leave everything he was for me and we go to the land I will show you. Everything in order to be successful, you're gonna have to get out of our comfort zone. Everything does not feel good. You know what I'm saying? Because one of all, the flesh is only so used to what it sees before it. So when you get the flesh out of the comfort zone, yes, the flesh gonna cry out. Yes, the flesh gets hungry. Yes, the flesh get weird. We know all that. But it's all about endurance. The Bible says the race is not given to the swift nor the strong, for those who endure to the end. It's
yes.
all about enduring to the end. You ain't gotta be the strongest. You ain't gotta be the fastest. It's all about can you endure? Can you stand the test of time? When you feel like giving up, you still gonna endure it to the end. Cause you gotta realize at the end of the day, it's not about me. And a lot of times we say it's about me or how I feel. No, it's not about me. It's all about who is watching me because somebody's cheering us on right now. And we're that light and we're that example to them to make it to the next level, if that makes sense. Because we got
Absolutely.
people cheering us on. And
Then
we got to cheer
we
ourselves.
have
Go
people
ahead.
that we have people that's tied to our story. Like it's some people that's waiting on you and you in the bed and they waiting on you. They can't unlock who they are until you unlock who you are. So some people I learned that, when I started my life coaching and one lady was like, it's people that's tied to your story that can't move forward if you don't. And that made me be like, dang, like it's people depending on me. It's somebody out there that's depending on me to help them really see themselves for who they are. And it's people that's attached to our story. It's people that can't go any further right now until you unlock who you really are. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I agree 1000% because at the end of the day we owe it to ourselves. I owe it to myself to make what they say, make quote unquote make a better version of yourself.
yes,
But it really takes work. And it's a consistent thing too. You have to be consistent in this thing. I just can't do it one day, then I'll do it the next day. I have to be consistent. I have to show up for myself. In other words, you have to look at yourself. I had to start looking at firmness and investment. Let's just make this thing personal.
absolutely.
I had to start looking at myself as an investment. You have to view yourself as an investment. You have to view yourself value, right? Starting with the mindset. You have to know who you are and stop looking to other people to find out who you are, and you start looking within yourself. Because everything we need, Shae, is within us. It's not on the outside, it's within
Mm-mm.
us. And
Yep.
you have once you make up your mind, and I believe this too. Once you make up your mind, that's when things start falling in place for you. Because one, you get taking it more seriously now. You'll start cutting people off. You'll start because one, you're getting serious about your life. So it's like if you're not adding value to my life, I don't need you around me. That makes sense. If
Absolutely.
so, because you know where you're going. So if you're not adding value to me, I don't need you around me because you're just a liability. And people may think, oh, you being like that's a narcissist attitude or you self-centered or whatever the case may be. No, you just love yourself now.
And
And
I
go
think a
ahead.
lot of these words like that we hear, that we use, we add so much negative connotation behind these type of things. Like I don't feel like a person now it's a level of self-centered and a level of arrogance that can be toxic. True enough. But what's wrong with being self-centered? Self-centered only mean not self-focused. Like it's about me and what I need to
Hmm.
do and what's gonna help me get to the next level. And I feel like a lot of the greatest people are very arrogant, very cocky. They have these very stoic personalities, these very unshakable type of personalities. I don't think that Elon Musk or the Trumps of the world or anybody would be in the position that they are if they wasn't self-centered,
Right.
or they would didn't have a level, a different level of arrogance. Like you can't tell me, you can't tell me who I am. You can't tell me what to do. And sometimes you have to double down and be that way in order to be able to get to that next level. And I feel like a lot of the time we put a lot of a stigma around these words that don't even it don't have to have a negative connotation behind it. It's just how the brain receives it,
Hmm.
and what we've been taught along the way about what these words mean. Like it's nothing wrong with being selfish. Yeah, it's a level of selfishness that can be toxic. But it's nothing wrong with being selfish because you gotta know if you always telling people, yeah, what they gonna leave you with?
Yeah.
Like if you always that's like if a millionaire, it's just because they're a millionaire and they always giving away their money, do you think they'll be a millionaire for long? Absolutely not. So it's a level of everything. I mean, sometimes you have to say no. Sometimes
Yeah.
like sometimes you gotta say no. And that don't mean I'm being rude. That don't mean I'm being, arrogant or anything. It just means like I know myself. Like, oh, Shae, you want to go to the club? No, I can't do that because I have obligations. Once you figure out what those obligations are too, you start being able to weed out people too. Because most of the time, people throw themselves out. Like I noticed as growing up, like you don't even have to tell nobody, like, oh, I don't want to talk to you no more. I don't want to be around you no more. They just start to weed themselves out because they know, well, we don't connect on this level no more, and we can't do the things that we would normally do. Like I don't drink like that. So if you was a friend that I had back when I was a teenager and that was the only thing we could socialize for, then now at this level, we probably aren't friends. Back in that time, I used to turn up a lot, and now I don't get to turn up that much no more. So now we're probably not as close as we used to be because you just start finding out, like, oh, that ain't the type of time that person on no more. So let me just back up. So most of the time, people weed themselves out. You don't
They
even
do.
got to do nothing. It's just you start positioning yourself different. People just start to fall off.
You're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They do. They really do because you own something and you're all about growing and evolving and you know you want to dig down deep inside or who you really are and bring out that greatness within you. Not talk about greatness, but being great. But it takes time. It takes effort, and it's not over. Like you mentioned earlier, not they want the instant gratification, but it's being consistent, just like building muscle. You know, you're not gonna get muscle overnight, right? You
Yes, just
got
because you
to,
did 50 push-ups today and tomorrow you ain't gonna be big show big. It's just not how it works.
yeah, but it takes time and it being consistent. And I ain't go, and then when you start slimming down and you start getting yourself in shape, me personally, that's when doors start opening up for you more, in my opinion.
Yeah, people start seeing you in a different light. Like, dang, this person dedicated. And I've always admired Furman's consistency with any and everything that he do. His consistency, his dedication to something is very admirable. Like every Tuesday, you are going to see this podcast without fail. That's something that he very, very consistent about, very, very dedicated to. It haven't been a time. I'm talking about. It haven't been a time where he made an excuse to not be on this podcast and show up for the people, but this is also something that he loves to do. So he's showing up for himself every single Tuesday. And it's very admirable. And, like, oh, just watching you just evolve, like you never stop. Like no matter who don't go, they just don't go. Furman don't stop. So, like that's very no, seriously, like and it's very admirable because I know some people they'll have platforms like this and you might have started off with co-hosting. You might have started off with a bunch of people, and then all of a sudden, just think like the Breakfast Club. The Breakfast Club probably wouldn't be the Breakfast Club without everybody. I feel
Right.
like everybody started to fall off. With Charlemagne just sit there on the podcast by himself, he probably wouldn't. It's like a special type of person to be able to continue doing something on a consistency and really be devoted and showing up. And I feel like it's been very admirable just watching you grow, watching the podcast grow. You're always showing up for yourself, always showing up for the people. So that's very admirable. I've always admired your consistency and your dedication to anything that you do.
I
And
appreciate it.
just always being a person of your words. When you say you're gonna do something, like you do it.
You
And
know what, Shay? I
that's
appreciate
very
it.
admirable.
I appreciate it, Shaw. Thank you for all that, and it really do. And I just remember the first time we interacted with each other. It was off social. It was on social media. Then you had your place of business downtown. I used to come down there regularly, and we used to work out and stuff like that. But I also been in a relationship, bonding, getting to know each other, and that's the most important thing too. And I also iron sharpen iron, right? It's like, okay. Where do you want to be at? Where do you see yourself? I'm asking these questions. I know at the time you was putting your business together and I know you started your business within the pandemic, right? You started within the
Yeah,
pandemic.
right. And that's what's trying time for everybody. I feel like that was a very bold A very bold thing that I did at that moment in time. I really just stepped out on faith. I didn't know what that was even gonna lead to. And then once my mother got sick, I ended up letting the studio just go. But like now, when I do decide to get the studio again, like I know what I want it to look like. I know where I want it to be now. I know I learned so much. Like even though I feel like I took a loss, like I had learned so much in that process. I'm like, well, I'm gonna do this different next time, and I'm gonna do that different next time. So I feel like, certain failures are learning experiences. Like school taught me that you fail and you fail often. And that made me feel bad at first. Like sometimes failure make you feel bad. You be like, man, you start to feel defeated. Like, but I failed. Like, but failure teaches you a lot about how to get back up.
It does.
Um,
It does.
yeah, how to get back up again. So it's just how you look at things. You can't look at it like everything is a bad thing. I feel like it's always two positives to a negative. Just like a battery, you got one negative side, you got one positive side. So it's not you just got to stay charged.
You do. You get, and then and was it take a licking and keep on ticking, right?
Absolutely.
And keep on moving forward and progressing and stuff like that. Cause I said I know when I met you, that's what you were doing at the time, and I know it was a transition, of course. And I know you went back into the medical field and things like that. And but you kept going, you kept on going, and you kept on moving. Cause I know you said you got to get stuff done. That's why I always admire you. Was always a go getter, and you always stick to your goal. You always stick to your plan, no matter who, what was against you. You still was ticking, and you still was involving. Where do you draw your motivation from? Where do you draw your inspiration from? Whether this person don't want to go or not, I'm still gonna go. So where do you draw that from?
Man, I think I learned that at a very young age. I literally was talking to my therapist about that. Like, I learned how to compartmentalize at a very, very young age. Like growing up in the environment that I grew up in, and just realizing I didn't want to be a product of that environment. It's certain things that I had to learn how to do. Like I had to separate at that point in time. I had to separate home and school. Like it would be a lot going on at home, and I still got to go to school. And just for if it's any kids listening to this, you ain't responsible to be your parent. And that's something that I had to learn. Like you ain't responsible for the decisions that your parents make. We just the product of the decision. But we ain't responsible for how they move through life or any of those type of things. So it was me learning how to really compartmentalize at a young age. Like home is home. That's going on because of her decisions. School is school, where I chose to, very much excel in, and just really learning that you got to put things in boxes in order to be able to check the boxes off. So it's like, okay, I'll deal with home when I'm at home. Don't take home to work. These are two separate things. So it's like you have to just learn how to turn that part off. And I know a lot of people there, you might get into an argument with your spouse or your significant other at home, and then you got to be on your way to work. Listen to something motivational. Listen to some gospel music. Listen to some meditation music to try to clear your mind to be able to deal with these people at work, because home and work don't collide. Yeah, like they don't. They're two
Yeah.
separate places. So it's like you had to learn how to compartmentalize like everything. It's like how Erica Badu would say, bag lady, right? You can't
Mhm.
carry every single problem with you.
Mm.
At one point, you're going to have to let some of that go so you can be able to, you got to pack light. You can't take everything, every single burden with you. So it's really learning how to compartmentalize and really getting into your mind like, okay, this is that's going to stay over here. And I got to focus on this right now. I can't be focused on what this person just told me. She turned the phone off. And nobody, if somebody steady coming through the phone or whatever it is, like you got to focus on what's in front of you at that present time. So I feel like that's really what helped me a lot. Growing up and just getting through things, like I've learned how to really compartmentalize and really shut certain things out. Like right now, this is irrelevant. This is what's in front of me, and I gotta focus on this right now. So really, just compartmentalizing and really getting into your mind, like I can only deal with one thing at a time. I'm only one person. You ain't gonna be able to handle every single thing all at one time.
Yeah. And just that out in a nutshell, and just the going back to the mindset, knowing who you are, knowing what you want, and dealing with trauma. Let's talk about that too. Dealing with trauma. People, May was like there was some type of trauma, some form of fashion. The book that I have, The Laws of Human Nature, talk about everything starts back within our childhood.
It
And we
does.
know that a lot of that stuff carry on into our adulthood, and not knowing that those traumas affect everyone around us. It could be the trauma of rejection, the trauma of fear, the trauma of abuse, physically, sexually, you name it. But it carries on into our adulthood, and it affects us in our personal life as well as our business lives. And I know these are conversations that's very uncomfortable, of course. Cause these kind of conversations we don't have. And I know it's that just that judgmental mentality we get. Like if I open up to a person, they gonna judge me. They gonna look at me. So I'm already judging you even before I open my mouth because I'm passing judgment on you because if I say this to you, you gonna look at me different. So how do we break that cycle? How do we break that pattern of not being afraid? 'Cause I know the scripture say he did not give the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. I know I dealt with that growing up. I dealt with fear. Um the fear of someone saying no. Um don't be afraid to go get what you want in life. And that was my biggest hang up, having the fear of going to get what I want out of life and thinking, oh, I'm not worthy enough, oh, I'm not good enough. Now you think those things about myself. And to have to make up my mind that, hey, Fermi, you are valuable. Hey, Fermi, you are fearfully, wonderfully made. Hey, Fermi, you're unique. And I didn't think that about myself at first. I was thinking less of myself and then on that, I'm opening up, Shae, I'm opening up all these floodgates
Yeah.
of negative energy. I'm opening up all the floodgates of negative vibes, and I'm wondering why I'm not progressing forward because of my thought patterns. And I open myself up to that because drawing these things in that
Yeah.
vibration.
You're gonna start attracting nothing but negativity once you start doing that.
So now it's the changing of the guard, right? Changing the guard. And I know what it took to that point is I had to get to making my mind that, hey, it's all or nothing. Don't be afraid. Step out on faith. Walk by faith and not by sight. And a lot of times, Shay, is remove things that's gonna cause you to fall into that spirit of doubt. Remove those things that's gonna cause you to fall in the spirit of depression. In other words, you were saying, well, they say change those bad habits and mix them in with good habits. So now you have to apply the work.
Yeah,
Okay, the tools are there, but if I'm not applying the tools, Shay, I'm just defeating myself, right?
absolutely, absolutely. And taking the time that we have here on Earth for granted, like that's another thing that I learned. Like we ain't promised the next day, the next minute. So it's like really taking yourself serious to be able to take your life serious. I seen a lot of my friends pass before me, and I'm only 34. So when you start losing friends that's around about your age too, you start realizing like, dang, we don't gotta be here. Like it don't even have to be. It could be an accident. I remember losing one of my friends to a car accident. I remember like my friends getting murdered. And they just taught me like we don't have to be here the next day. Anything can happen. So it's really fulfilling your purpose now while you're here on earth. Like, what do you want to be remembered by? Like, how do you want people to remember you? When somebody at your funeral preach a eulogy, what do you want them to be able to say about you? What type of person were you? Um, what goals did you be able to accomplish in your life? You want to be You want to be iconic, like you want to be remembered by something. You want to be legendary. You want to, like you want to be able to say, like, if I'm gone tomorrow, I feel like I fulfill my purpose here on earth. I did what I was set here to do. Um, and to speak on the trauma issue, um, I just started trauma therapy. I want to say about 2 months ago, and I encourage like people that have dealt with real trauma because it's like, you know me, I watch a lot of podcasts and stuff, and I follow Dr. Bryant, and she was like, it's a difference between truth and transparency. So it's like you can tell your truth, absolutely, but who you gonna choose to be transparent with? Transparency is all the little stuff in between that we often leave out because, like you said, of embarrassment or you scare somebody's gonna pass judgment upon you because you like, dang, I made this decision and I don't want you to crucify me for the decision that I decided to make. That's just like with relationships, like um, certain relationships, people be like, okay, so why did you stay in that relationship so long if it wasn't beneficial to you? So it's like, dang, there's certain things that you have to have that come into moments like, yeah, that was a terrible decision. But also, you have to evolve. Like, what did you learn from it? What did you learn about yourself? Sometimes you start to be critical and be like, dang, I didn't love myself enough. Or I didn't have enough courage. I didn't have enough uh, strength at the time to be able to leave the relationship or whatever the case may be. So you just start to find out things about your own self that you didn't know. And then the therapist is gonna also tell you your strengths too. So it's really figuring out them strengths and weaknesses when it comes to trauma, like what you strong in. I feel like a lot of people, especially as adults, I feel like, yeah, our childhood trauma does translate into adulthood, but this is what I've learned too. It's like you can't help the family that you're born into, right? Like
Right. That's
that's
true.
just something you can't help. Like you was born into this family and things might have happened, but now that you're an adult, you change, you write your own book. Now your mama wrote your book when you was a kid. She, your mother, your parents, the people that, you was born around, born into, true enough, they shape you. But then as an adult, you cannot bring childish situations into your adult life. That's just not how that works. And so once you start realizing, like, now I'm the author of the book that had to be produced, that had to come forward, then you start to realize that, yeah, the childhood trauma might have been bad, but you overcame that. So something about you is deep down in there that helps you be able to do that. And then you be like, okay, I overcame this. So when other things start coming your way, you just learn how to handle it. Handle things with grace, not being so emotional, not being so reactive. You start learning different techniques. So it's like, I would encourage anybody that if you've been in a deep, deep trauma, and then some people internalize trauma differently too. That's when you start having the headaches and you got the stomach problems and your nervous system can't regulate no more. And you got to take depression medicine. And you got to, do all these things because you allowing your nervous system to just control you. You allowing things to just be able to control you. So really getting in control of yourself and really telling yourself, like, that wasn't my fault. Your childhood, most of the time, not your fault. Like it's nothing that you could have done differently as a kid to make things better. But once you start getting older, you write the narrative. You are the one that's responsible for how you turn out now. So really taking control of your life.
Yeah, because when you was talking, Shay, I wrote this down in my notebook. I wrote my name, which my full name is Fern Maurice Jackson Jr., and I wrote underneath, who am I? So as you were talking, I was writing it down in my notebook right next to me. Knowing your name, you already know your name, but now we gotta know who am I? So now we gotta put together who am I? Who do I want to be? Who do I set out to be? If that makes sense.
Absolutely. What's your purpose? Find out what is it that you like to do. What do you need to do? Make a list of stuff that you would want to be doing. Set some goals, some short term goals, some long term goals. Everything don't have to be right now. Like, oh, okay, I want to save $5,000, and if I put back $50 a check, or I put back $100 a day, or break it down, see how long it'll take you to accomplish that goal, and just go with it. Like, I feel like even short term people don't get themselves enough credit. They feel like, well, in 2 years, or I wait till next year, and I can start. No, you can start today if you wanted to. You don't have to postpone anything.
You
You
know, but
you just you don't have to postpone nothing.
you know, you know what? That just really confirmation. When I was at work last night and I got work this morning, one of my coworkers brought this parable with Christ. With Christ cursed the tree because the tree didn't bear no fruit. And if it not bearing no fruit, I have to cut it off. And he cursed that tree because it didn't bear no fruit at all. And they begged him, "Hey, just give it enough time." And but you look at that parable, it's like anything that's not evolving, anything that's not being allowed access to me, I have to cut it off. I have to curse it. I have to cut it off.
Yeah,
And we that's good. That's good.
yeah. If you're not growing, you dying.
And a lot of times, Shay, we hold on to dead things that's not benefiting us. That could be a relationship. That
Yeah,
could be anything. You know what I'm saying? And that could
yeah,
be anything.
yeah.
And we
But
hold on to
relationship, or friendship, or partnership,
friendship. Right.
any ship that don't sail.
Right. And it makes sense because because even the scripture tells us drop the weight and the sin. See, folks for that sin, the weight could be anything. A weight could be a habit. It could be a
Right,
relationship.
a negative attitude. It
And
can
they
be.
could, cause think about it. I mean, you're a gym buff. I can say that. You know if you lift a lot of weights, you know you're not gonna carry out on weights, right? Cause that weight gonna break you down.
Absolutely.
So you have to drop that negative weight, whatever that case may be, in order to finish this race with patience. And a lot of times, shall we carry on people who's not meant to go with us.
Yeah, some people just can't go. I remember in the Bible where some people just got left behind. Like, it's like, you going or not? We be acting like
Yeah,
God took everybody with him. Everybody can't go. Like, everybody can't go. Like, it's gonna be certain people, like you said, that's gonna be able to endure to the end. Those are the people that go. Like, those are
yeah,
people that's tenacious and that you able to take with you. Everybody ain't meant for the ride. Like, everybody ain't gonna be on the same journey.
yeah,
And I be grateful that every chapter of my life, God exposes people for who they is before I go to this next level, before I go to this next pinnacle in life, to where, you safeguard it. Like, sometimes you feel like, man, I lost a friend. No, you didn't. You ain't lose them. You don't even, and if you did, you don't know why, and that's fine. They might have, God might have been saving you from something.
yeah,
Might have removed them, purposely, because they can't be involved in this next level in life. And
yeah,
you just have to learn to be grateful for certain losses, even though it might not feel good. Like, it might not feel good at the moment, but you have to be grateful for certain things that just fall off. It's like a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. Like, it takes time, and eventually all that, the cocoon, it falls off.
yeah,
So you can be able to evolve into that beautiful butterfly.
yeah. And bouncing back, cause I had a moment. I said a moment, but I remember a time in my life when I went through my divorce. My divorce got finalized in 2017. I looked at my certificate, my divorce certificate. You know what? If I would do it all over again, I would never done it the first time. When I say I would never done it the first time, because you have to know yourself. You know, a lot of times people want to blame their ex, this, and then. Now, a lot of times I look at self first, because
Right.
I had to learn who Furman was. I had to learn who Furman is in order to be a husband, in order to be a leader, and all the other stuff. And I have not mastered that, Shay. I'm just doing more harm and damage in the long run. If that
Mm,
makes if that
now
makes
that's
sense.
good. Now that's good because we often, you're right, we often take a blow at the other person. Well, it was them, and I didn't do nothing. But then once you start to sit back and examine yourself, it's like, yeah, I could have done this different. Yeah, I could have done that different. I hadn't reached that level of maturity just yet, but you start to be able to do that, and then you set yourself up for the right person, to really come along. Not saying that the first person wasn't the right person. That was the right person at that time in your life.
Right.
Like at that time in your life. But it's like now you took time, you got to know yourself some more. So the next person that are gonna be with or be married to, it's a whole different experience for them. It's a whole new world for them that you're able to open up because you don't unlock different doors. You don't unlock these doors now, and where you was at 10 years ago, 7 years ago, that ain't where you are today.
Right.
So it's like, and it'd be funny how I see like on Facebook and stuff where people be like, why is it that when a person break up with you and then you feel like that when they get with the next person that they're being the person that you always wanted them to be? They was already that person. You just didn't unlock that you just didn't bring that out of them.
Mm-hmm.
You just wasn't that person at that time that was capable of bringing the goodness out of them. You might have been the person that just always tapped on the bad side, and you didn't realize that about yourself. So it's like that person was already that person. They didn't change up on you. You just wasn't the person that was able to tap into that, to be able to receive what they give the next person.
Yeah. Because you have to like I said, going back, everything start with self first, and it's all about being honest with yourself and knowing where you're at and knowing, okay, what can I do better for myself, and apply the information to me first. And a lot of time, when the time now, everybody want to look at everybody else, but want to look at self. And self examination is very, very important, right?
Very vital.
So that's what I've learned, and I'm still learning, because that's important to me. Because you have, in order to be the best man and the best woman in life, you have to start with self first. And it takes time. And it's not overnight. But you put in the work constantly, in season, out of season. You know what I'm saying? You constantly put in the work to get better, to evolve, to grow and learn and get out the comfort zone. And don't be afraid to take chances. Don't be afraid to take risks. Get out your comfort zone. That's what I'm learning. Get out your comfort zone.
Yeah, don't be
Um,
afraid to be challenged. Like every challenge ain't to prove that you terrible at something. Like be
right.
open to, the challenges that life throw at you. And then like when you overcome the challenge, do you know how great you feel? Like I feel like that's a lot of why I do what I do too. Cause it's like at the end, that level of like, I don't know, it's like a rush. That level of I did it, like I finished it. Like you can't beat that, really uplifting your own self and being able to prove to yourself something that you thought you couldn't even do. Like you like surprise your own self. Be like, dang, that's something I thought I couldn't even do. I didn't think I could lift 100 pounds, but here I go. As progressive, you gotta just have a mindset of being productive, being progressive, um, and really just knowing that whatever you set your mind to, you can do that.
Yeah. And you really can, once you put your mind to it and believe in who you are and knowing who you are and speak life for yourself. Because I read in the book that I got Laws of Human Nature. I have it at work. I bring it to work with me. I read that, the Laws of
Because
Human Nature.
it's a long book. It's a long book, y'all.
Yeah, it
Long,
is.
it's just a long book. It's so long. Oh my God. Oh, Because I read it too. Like I read it too on and off. I tap into it on and off, and it have like these long stories that kind of help you like look at things in a different light. And you're like, dang, like we all have some type of narcissistic behavior. Like people like to throw their word around a lot. We all have done things that we ain't so proud of. But it's like, what do you like? What do you do? You know, like what do you do? You either conform or you mass produce something different.
Yeah. Yeah, but but the process is fun. I share the process of
Yeah,
learning self is fun. Coming to the knowledge of self is very fun. You gotta make it fun, make it meaningful, and it occupies your time. You're not focused on the negative, but you're focused more on the positive because you're putting the work. You're constantly working on self, and it's not an overnight thing. It's not one and done. This is something that you have to do on a consistent basis, just like working out,
absolutely.
eating right. You have to do that on a consistent basis. It's like the maintenance. Once we get to that level of success, the work is now we have to be consistent and keep a
Yeah,
maintenance, just
keep
like your
this,
car.
yeah, keep the success. Because what are you gonna do? You gonna let everything that you done built just go away? You can't do that.
Yeah,
You start to learn how to take it up a notch or take it to the next level. Like I look at a lot of these content creators that have been creating content for years. Now they winning awards. Now they, got a lot. They got 3 million subscribers. You just got to be ready to turn it up a notch every time. What you gonna do to top this? What can
yeah,
you do to beat that? Challenge yourself. Like don't be afraid to challenge yourself to be able to move to that next level that you need to go to.
yeah. Because one thing I have to do more now, and I'm learning now, and I see this pattern is continue being more consistent in what I want to do. And don't I mean what I do is I start out too fast and then I burn out. And I notice that. So I have to change that mental pattern of kick it off slow and keep
Yeah,
the
slow and
momentum going,
steady win
if
the
that makes
race.
sense.
Yeah, slow and steady win the race. You can't. I mean, some stuff we can't dive into it if we want to. But like you said, that burnout feeling is once you hit that level of burnout, nothing in your mind or body want to go do nothing else. You be like, bro, I'm zapped, I'm tired. But slow, steady. It's even if it's slow, it's still progress. And I
Yeah,
think that's what a lot of people don't like that feeling of that slowness. Like, but it's still progress.
yeah. It is. It's still progress and just going back, just being consistent
Yep.
in what you do. Be honest with yourself. That's another thing. Honesty with yourself. Communicate with yourself. That's the one I'm turning to. Learn how to communicate with yourself. You have to speak positive words over yourself. So you have to communicate with yourself. And you mentioned earlier something about giving yourself mercy, giving yourself grace too. Because we
Yeah.
so quick to beat ourselves up, but give yourself mercy, give yourself grace because you're making progress. You already winning because you're making the first step. When you don't win, when you don't make the first step, but you already won because you made the first step towards your recovery. I like
Absolutely.
that. And when you
Absolutely.
make your first step towards recovery and redemption, you're winning because you're taking control of your life. If you don't take control of our lives, other things will control our lives to us to control our lives, right?
You so right about it. Whatever you allow to control it, you show right. If we don't have control, somebody do. You allow it. And then I think a lot of people seek that outside validation
Yeah,
instead of validating your own self. I mean, social media have us all kind of crazy.
you
If
know
we
what?
rely
I'm glad you brought
on
this up.
and we relying on validation from the outside world, it have you all kind of crazy.
But you know what? Because we know taught to be free thinkers.
Yeah.
We all right. If you look at these content curators, they call this a content.
Oh, you on mute, Furman. I don't know what happened.
All right, I don't know what happened either. Okay, I'm back. All right, but what I'm about to say is these creators they'll push their fear on people,
Yeah.
and these people don't think for themselves that they actually believe what happened to this person is gonna happen to them. And I see it all the time on social media with these guys. For some reason, I never seen so many males hate women so bad.
And that
It's getting worse and worse.
it's bad. It's bad. It's
And
bad.
I see it. And I see it, and it's worse and worse. And every woman and every man is not bad. You can't say what it is, and I say it all the time. And I do believe this. If a woman is not romantically attracted to you, she's not gonna give you the time of day. I don't care. You can have the muscles, you can have the money, you can
You
have
had
the
a
clothes and
money,
the status.
everything.
But if she don't get that connection with you on that mental level, she's not gonna give you the time of day. That's not making her a bad person. That's a God given right. Guys have to learn how to find someone that they're compatible with. What they want this eye candy. They want to impress people. Oh, I gotta make her she look. I got a baddie and all this other stuff. But you have to find someone who you compatible with. You have to find someone that who you're attracted to and they're attracted to you. What I'm saying is, Shay, people don't. They're not free thinkers. They were. These people are,
And that make you easy to be manipulated when you're not, when you can't think for yourself. It make you a target of manipulation.
and that's what
People,
goes on.
yeah, people be you'll be so easy to be manipulated if you can't think for yourself. Like just like what you were saying, like I call it the he man woman haters because it just, I mean, it's so bad. Like, and it started making me question, like, who team is you on, dog? Like, is you playing for the other team now? Because y'all talk about women so bad. Like, it be it be so bad. But then you also have to realize that most of these people coming from a hurt place. And none of these men probably married. None of
And
these men probably working on their healing. So most of that stuff come from them being in a very hurt place. And they projecting they hurt out into the world. And just so happens is other men that have been just as hurt. So that make it easy for everybody to just fall in line and be like, yeah, bro, you right. But you're still speaking from a very hurt place. You're not speaking from a healed place. And I think we have to be mindful as to where this person is speaking from. Like, even when you ask people certain questions, like, are they speaking from a place of prosperity? Or are they speaking from a place of brokenness?
brokenness. A lot of times it's broken. I'm telling you, what they do is they'll push their beliefs on them instead of them being a free thinker.
Yeah.
Man, this happened to me. This gonna happen to you. Like you got the whole passport bros, and man, these guys telling these guys here, man, leave these women alone in America, man. Go overseas
Go
and
overseas and find this
and
elite type of woman, and then you end up missing
but
because you
see
know
what
play the same games in the
right.
United Kingdom as you play in the United States.
Yeah, because they fear that the women overseas they're being more submissive to their
Like,
man, and that's what they believe. That's why they tell the guy, man, get your passport, go over there, man. They'll treat you like a king over there. And these guys, they so gullible,
yeah,
they'll go over there. And they said, and shit, these guys still had the same mentality. I seen a video where a guy was a passport bro, went overseas, killed this girl over there because he has insecurities going on. Then she was talking to somebody else. Once again,
and I've
going back.
heard the flip side. They go like you said, go down there with that mentality, thinking that they big shit, and then you done ran into this Russian girl, and you done been abusive to her, and she got family members that don't play, and now you missing.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they got real.
walk into a whole different realm of energy that you wasn't even prepared for. Now, you done got yourself into something that you can't get out of.
Yeah, so in other words, learn how to be a free thinker, learn how to establish your own beliefs, learn how to establish your own philosophy. And don't worry about what people think, Shay. And that's what a lot of times, Shay, people worry about what other people think about them. They
Yeah.
worry about what the neighbor's gonna say. Don't worry about what the neighbor's gonna say. Be you. At the end of the day, be you. And that's what we do. We deal with other people's opinions, Shay. We have become a slaves to other people's opinions. You look
That's,
at people,
that's
I
true.
did this because I wanted such and such to be happy, and you miserable at the end of the day. We see that with
Yeah,
family.
yeah.
You see that with family. You
Don't be
know,
don't be the sacrifice.
we see that with family. Because people get mad because they get resentment. They say, "Oh, I only did this because you wanted me to do this, or I want to do this," but and we always was programmed to think worry about what everybody else think instead of being
Yeah,
free thinkers. And that's the thing about it too. I think the book that I have too, the art things, the art of life by Bob Proctor talks about that in the book. Getting delivered, we had to get delivered from what other people think about us. That's what I want to
yeah.
say.
You can't even worry about it. What somebody else perception of you shouldn't affect you.
And it does, and we allow it.
Yeah, like what they think about you, it shouldn't even matter. Only what matters is what you think about you.
Right, because at the end of the day, Shay, they're gonna talk about what you're doing good or bad. They're gonna talk about what you're doing good. They're gonna talk about what you're doing bad. You know,
Absolutely,
when you're doing good, they're hating on you. When you're doing good, they're jealous of you.
absolutely.
I'm just saying.
And it's so true. Like with people, it's no, like you said, it's no middle. It's like they hate you or they love you, and either way, they still thinking of you. So it don't even really matter. At a point, you have to be so confident within yourself that you just know, like, and it don't bother you whether the people stay or they go.
Yeah. Yeah, because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, you're gonna be good with or without them. At the end of the day, because you first of all, you establish who you are because of the groundwork. You put in so much work, so much energy, so many sacrifices to become the woman that you are. You're not gonna lose it or let somebody come mishandle
And
what you
just
built.
take it away from you. No, you can't do that. Don't be around here crashing out because don't be around here crashing out and lose everything that you done built all because you want to be emotional. I think that's a lot that I've learned like within the past 5 or 6 months. Is like relationships, I can be a crash out. Like I was a crash out. Like anything somebody say, like I'm biting it. I'm trying to defend myself. I'm trying to prove them wrong. But it's like, who are you? Like, why do I feel like I have to go to this extent or degree to prove myself to you? Like, who are you?
That's
So, it just really establishing that within yourself. Like you can be good with that person.
yeah. And love it. And like I said, going back to loving the process. I know we at that time now. We have this 808 now, so we at that time. We about to get ready to depart. And I know you got things you have to do as well. So what's next? What's the next thing you got going on? Any other events that you're part of? What else you got going on?
Um, what else do I got going on right now? Um, Really just completing school, y'all. Like I'm gonna be done in May. I get my bachelor's of science in nursing. Plan to take my NCLEX to become an RN in August, no later than. So just really focused on school, completing school, so I can put these alphabets behind my name, so more people to take me serious when I'm on these stages and I'm speaking. And if anybody wants to get me on a podcast, I'm always open to working. Looking forward to working with Miss Lantage next year in the upcoming mental um, youth event that's coming up for next year. So really looking forward to that. And just really, staying active, staying productive as I can. But anybody that's interested in having me on a podcast, having me on their platform, I'm always open to working, collaborating, because I haven't really been setting much up, but definitely interested though.
But you know what? I'm proud of you, man. Just keep up the great work and what you're doing and stuff like that. So they can follow you on Instagram. Let me put your Instagram up. God just had it up earlier, right there. They can follow
Yeah,
you on Instagram.
you can always follow me on all social media platforms at I am Coach Shae. The only thing that isn't I am Coach Shae will be my Facebook, which is Shanae Gotta Giddy Fleming. But you can always follow me, inbox me, tap in. If you need some life coaching, tap in. You need some words of encouragement, tap in. I'm always willing to help.
Well, I appreciate you, and I thank you for taking time out your schedule to be on here with me tonight. And like I said we had a good time. That's our hope. well, I know what we said was meaningful, and then really ties back into the self. I will be doing the other platform tomorrow at 5 p.m. with Low on the Just Saying podcast. So y'all tune in tomorrow at 5 p.m. as we do every Wednesday here on the platform, of course. And we still got the Walking This Ways platform, which I do. Me and Nancy will be back this coming Saturday for the Walking This Ways Impact Boys podcast for our Saturday morning edition, of course. And then learn with the whole nerd media coming. I'm in the media business, so we're gonna make this thing shape. We're gonna make things happen, and we'll make sure we bring meaningful content to these listeners. So, Shae, do you have any words of wisdom, any sound advice we'll leave with the listening audience?
What I would want to leave with the audience is create the mindset that you want to be known for something. If you was to leave tomorrow, how do you want people to remember you and recall their experiences with you? So get to know yourself, heighten your self awareness, and don't be afraid of the challenges life throw your way.
And then that's it. Take it and strive with it, and man, make the best out of yourself. Work in yourself. Put in the work. Put in the homework. It's time for us to put in the homework, and not just saying to be saying like we on the show, but really applying. Put in the homework on yourself. I did put earlier. You have your name, which you already know who your name is, but other day you're gonna have to say X. Who am I? Who are you? Who do you want to be? Who do you always dream yourself of being? Remember, we were children, Shay. We had these
Yeah,
wild imaginations, and we could have anything. And through the years, some imaginations got beaten down
yeah,
through life. But we have to bring those imaginations back and envision who you are. We are creative beings, right? So we can create our world. What we got going on right now, we created that. So we can unchange that right now. Whatever you desire to be, whatever you want to be, man, it is yours. It is yours for the accent. You have to change that mindset. Speak those affirmations over yourself. Speak life over yourself. This is something I apply in my own life as well. And
absolutely.
so apply it. So apply it. So apply it. So I appreciate you, Shay, once again.
No problem. Anytime.
So we about to get ready to burn on out of here. Man, y'all have a great night. Enjoy your evening. And we'll see y'all next time here on the Walking This Way Impact Plus podcast. Peace, everybody.
Peace.